Hi, in this video, I'll be talking about data visualization project, which is our on-job training project. So before I start, I would like to say, because of my company confidential data, I can't really do much analysis, but I will try my best to produce as much details as possible. So, uh, in my project site is named enforcement. So my company is essential, but I'm posted to ICA to help in the enforcement team. My supervisor is Mr. Lau Wei Long, he's my team lead. Then, so in table of content, we have the acknowledgement, which is the thank of my team lead that got me along through the on-job training he has provided me. And first chapter will be the introduction. I'll be talking about the tools that I've used. And second chapter will be the objective of the project. Basically, I will be talking about how we design our database and how we extract data from. So we use a system called Pega system. So I will be explaining how we extract data from Pega system to our analytics DB, then over to our dashboard. Then data loading, I'll be talking about types of data that has been used in our project. Although there's a lot of type of charts, but um, I will not say everything, but I will say the charts that I have been using. Optimization of in dashboard, which is quite important also. Later on, I will be talking about this too. Chapter 3 will be the scope or background of the project. One of it is business needs. Chapter 4 will be project plan, which is the scheduling or timeline. Then finally will be conclusion. Reference, which the info that I use in other website, I'll reference it. In terms of reference, which is the special terms that not everyone knows, so I have created a table of it also. So basically the summary of this dashboard project is to show different type of data that is being used and how we use it to appropriate charts or tables. And of course it must be user friendly enough for the user to use it, and we of course try not to make it so complicated for them too. So for the complicated wise, we come up with a user guide for them. So the user guide basically will teach them from the scratch how to start up this dashboard. We even explain how we log in, then how we enter, how we display data, how we use date filters, how we generate custom report, how we export the custom report or export data to Excel file, or it is inside our user guide. And of course, the best scenario we are trying to achieve is when the user look at the first glance, they will be able to know how to use the visualization, how they can analyze by their first glance, which is very important also. So during especially during demo and presentation, so before they try on their own, we have a demo or presentation to our user, and from there user will give us positive or even negative feedbacks, but mostly it's positive because the dashboard really help them in improving their business. Like for example, they need to know the trend of how many teenager is using this, how many teenager is using that, what is the age group of using the product, which really help them in future planning or business purposes. So as I mentioned, I'm from Accenture. The Accenture have 5 different pillars, which is technology service, consulting service, operation service, security service. Yes, yeah. So and of course they have a lot of employees in the companies too. So in our ICA project, we are mainly build this system for internal user, which is just ICA officer. So it's more onto uh digital way of for them to record down things rather than last time they use paper to write their individual cases that they reported. So the tools I use are Jira. Jira is one of the quite good project management tools I can say, because it can record down the bugs for the particular sprint. So why we call sprint? What the definition for sprint in our project case is something like a schedule. So we have a cycle. So one example, one sprint equals one cycle. So one sprint has 3 weeks for us in our project. So we can write down, okay, what date, who reported what bug. Then even the users can enter this as long as it's in uh, our same group. We can invite them into our group. So QuickSense. Okay, so basically for our dashboard we use QuickSense, and QuickSense is a very smart and user-friendly analytics tool that can generate personalized reports, and is very useful for a beginner like me. Pega system. So Pega, we use Pega to create the internal system for internal users. So it's not open for public, it's just for internal users use. So by using Pega, we not only can create the UI for the system, we can also program in various programming language such as Java, HTML, CSS, SQL, and etc. Then it also can create digital process automation and business process management flow for the project too. So in below on this image, it shows I simplify and show the overall how we retrieve data from PegaDB to our dashboard or our machine. So first, Pega has uh, a lot of rules. So okay, Pega has its rules to understand. So let's say we are creating a data transform. So what is data transform? Okay, for this I will scroll down to the bottom and show you the terms of reference. So data transform in Pega, the term data transform, it means updating of data in database. So in Pega, you have different types of rule set to be used. The rule set are mainly, the higher the rule set, the more things you can do with. So let's say currently the rule set is we have 10 rule sets. Then our first data transform save in the rule set 4, let's say. Then we are trying to get a rule set 5 property. We can't, because the rule set 5 property is higher. So we have to change the data transform for to same rule set with the property or even higher than the property, so we can retrieve the property. So yeah, this is one of the example. Then have a clipboard. Clipboard have is show a summary of all the properties that is running in the back end. So let's say we encounter an error, clipboard will be a very useful tools for us to go in to look back what is the error going on. Yeah, so the machine can access the clipboard, of course, because once it have error or no error, you basically want just to look inside to track. Okay, example, what is the PS create date time? PS create date time basically is the first time that they create the event or on the case, or the first time they use the property. So from our PegaDB is basically we can limit as Pega extract too. So the Pega extract, later on I will explain what exactly is inside the Pega extract. So the Pega extract will access Pega, and of course from Pega there's a Pega application and Pega rule engine extract to our analytics DB. Our analytics DB goes to QuickSense, then to QuickSense goes to the dashboard, and will appear to the user depending on what environment we use. So we have three environment: dev, which is the development environment, UAT environment, and deployment environment. Later on, I will be explaining all this later on. So finally, actually it's not the last tool, but the last main tool we use is Oracle, and of course we use a lot of other tools also, but this four is the main four tools that we use. So Oracle SQL is basically the analytics DB we are saying about. Okay, so the objective of this project is, of course, to understand how to extract, load, and transform data for relevant company that we are helping. So because extracting or load the data might be slow, uh, I am our team come up with idea of optimization of dashboard. So later on the last part of this chapter, I'll be talking about the optimization of the dashboard, how we optimize and what is the result of the optimization. So as you can see in this image, a daily patch job is configured to extract the data from PegaDB to Analytics DB. The data then queries into QVD file for faster loading and show up the visualization in the dashboard. So this is our database design. This is our final database design. So our final database design is currently, let's say, in the event table, IR table, hotel table, agency 1 table, agency 2 table, all share a same key, which is PX covered in key. So what this key can do is basically to link to create a link of all these 5 tables together and share the same PX covered in key. And of course, inside a table itself will have their own primary key. So at, at our first database design is something like a IR plus relevant form link to event tables. So what it means is IR and all these three from hotel agency 1 and 2 plus IR will have an arrow link to this event table, which is not as expected, and a lot of useless data is being used, and of course the time consistent will be slow too. So extract data. Okay, as we mentioned just now, extract data most of the data in Pega is stored in BLOB, which is binary large object. So first thing we do if we want to extract data is to create a extract in Pega. We call Pega extract. So as we can see over here, this main table over here, which is ASG dash FW dash SGEFW dash work dash form dash hotel dash CA. This is the main table. Then reporting officer. Okay, then we can see the date, time of offense, controlling agency. All these will be the properties for this main event. So as you can see here, over here have a reporting officer and location. So for this reporting officer is, so we can name it as table list 1 or page list 1, and location we can name it as page list 2. Yeah, so below we can see in the extraction process from Pega D, this is Pega DB, or we can call it Pega extract, to analytics DB. Each page list or table list will create a new table that is one-to-many relationship. So let's say property 1 will be date time of offense, property 2 will be controlling agency. Then table list 1 will be reporting officer, table page 2 will be location. So what this sentence means is main table will be a table by itself. When going to analytics DB, it will split. So from here, right, we'll have I will split only these two to make it clearer, because the main table will be table by itself. So table list, let's say table list move to here. In analytics DB, although in Pega extract is a one whole table, as you can see here we still can expand. So this is considered a table by itself in analytics DB. Analytics DB reads table list is a table by itself, which with their properties inside. And table page will be table by itself, but they will still link to the main table by using the same primary key. So if they use the same primary key in their table, it will link to the main table. So basically all three tables use the same primary key. We'll link them together. After that, to make our life easier, basically Pega have this function which is perform extract. So we generate the schema DDL, and the schema DDL will look something like this. But of course, this is not how we create table in analytics DB. So the right link for creating table, the right link in to do is from Pega DB we will extract to extract to analytics DB, then to dashboard. But for confidential wise, I can't really screenshot that part to you, but I can briefly describe. So basically, How we create table is, first we create a sequence. Example, let's say we are creating for IR form details. So we need to create sequence for IR form first. Then we create table for IR form in analytics DB. And of course, we need to include the memory key ourselves, because although here I don't think have any memory key because it's a schema. It's a schema, just a schema. Then after that, we will need to create the index, which is the memory key. Then after that, we need to alter the table. Then after that, we basically need to grant the select, insert, delete access to the table. Then we need to create a sync task for the table too. So after doing all this that I just said, we can write the load data script in QuickSense already. So we will use incremental loading because it can save time. Rather than loading all data on every load from the start, we can simply just write a code, load max, create the PS create date time, which I mentioned, which is the first time they created the property or they used the property. Yeah, so only the change of data from last create date time from the table from QOV will be loaded because we added this else code over here. Yes, this else code. After that, we will need to store data to QOV. Then when the table loaded, we need to drop the table because when we drop the table, it will reduce the workload in server, and the server won't keep on crashing. Load from data. The data will be loaded from QEV instead of the server. Because when we do this, it will also reduce the stress of the server too. After loading the tables, we are able to join the table, and this will allow same property name to be used without calling the keys. So what I mean by that is basically this is an example from my company. We can load data from the QAV and not the server. Load data from the QAV where the so PZ is key, which is our primary key. So for this, because we have different types of tables, so this is one of the page lists that I have mentioned. So this page list have a main table which is called Hoto form, I think. Then this Hoto underscore PZ key is the primary key that I mentioned shared among all tables. So this also use PZ key in order for them to link to each other. Then the visualization of the data in QuickSense. After doing the data load, then we are able to retrieve the data. So after doing the extract and loading, of course, we are able to retrieve the data and show it on the dashboard. But before we show it, we definitely need to put ourselves in the user's shoes, because by thinking of how we design the dashboard will not really help them in achieving their business needs. So let's say so for this example that I have done, of course, for our requirement, we are required to explain the analysis that we have done. Basically, for our company have through although it's a existing dashboard already, but still our company requires whenever the user require to implement a new function, dashboard need to be implemented also. So once the function is done, we need to extract the data, then repeat the process again and again, and from there we gather requirement from user so that we can achieve what the user want. Of course, the user will be talking about the very high level of perspective, and we need to really put ourselves in their shoes to design the dashboard. And in this example, have 4 different tabs. Let's say, okay, because this is my company data, I can't really review much. So let's say these 4 different tabs. One is uh let's say this is a delivery company. Then this is this tab shows, okay, so let's say handover takeover of duties because they need to hand over. Then maybe this is a teenager, this is mid age, this is old people, then this is might be students. So once I tap, it will show a donut pie chart. So it will shows, okay, what time this teenager has returned, has take over the duties from whoever. So we can from here we can track whether, oh, what is the pop, popular popularity of uh of the timing that they handover take over, is night shift or morning shift, etc. So from here we can see, okay, they can ownself know. Okay, so the dashboard is not only um designed for their um business use. They need to know their employee whereabout also. So from here they can know their property of their employees. And let's say, okay, so for conveyance subtype, since it's a delivery company, so let's say bus, we take bus, car, and lorry as an example. We can see that why does the car so popular, the bus not popular, and the uh lorry is the most unpopular one, because car is more luxury. And over here we have a sub dimension, so it's an additional dimension that we can add. So once we click this drop down, we can change. So let's say we change to the price of petrol, let's say. So lorry, most of our lorry use diesel petrol, which is cheaper. Then we'll show the price tag of it. Then bus and car maybe use 95 petrol. Then we'll show the total price of being spent over here also. So as we can see, although the uh the car is more popular, but the price spent is definitely much more higher. So from here, the company can decide, okay, from now onwards, everyone use lorry to deliver. As long as can deliver can already, then they can turn the business another way, or say that, oh, the bus can be rented out, or can they can ownself have some staff that know how to drive a bus that can go to school to entertain those students that need to go for school field trips, etc. Yeah, so it's the visualization that we done can be quite important for the business too. So the type of charts that I use okay, basically this table is the type of chart that the company use. So have column, macro, bar, pie, line, scattered plot, and bullet. So basically all the I feel that there are no right or wrong in all charts or tables, but I think the most important part is finding the suitable one. And of course, finding a suitable one is very important for users, especially displaying of data, because not all data are suitable for, let's say, pie chart, and not all data are suitable for tables. then then uh, these all are used in my companies which I've consolidated, and of course not all that I use. Basically, I have used column, bar, pie, line, bullet, stack bar, stack column, bubble. Yeah, I have used all these. So talking about the optimization in dashboard. So the purpose of optimization of our dashboard is to reduce the data load time and reduce the memory use of QVD files. So originally, this is how we implement our dashboard, the data load. So from our DB, we load data to all domains, load data to first domain, load data to second domain, load data to third domain, which is very waste of time and waste of memory too. Later I will show you the result of it. Why I say so. So now, after showing the optimized version of data load from DB, we load data to all domains. Then from all domains, we will split into 3 domains. From this, we can see before before this before this is implemented, which is this, our memory load is quite a lot. After optimize, we reduce by 1 MB, and basically for others will be reduced by half, which is quite a good result that we want to achieve. So for chapter 3, which is the scope and background of project, there will be, okay, so basically in our project for my company, we have 2 dashboards. One is incident reporting, one is enforcement, which is enforcement work basket. So, and our dashboard consists of 3 types of dashboard: operation, management, and analytics dashboard. Operation summarize the data that display statistic cases, include generation of management report that are created manually by user. Management dashboard consists of KPI or trend, etc. Analytics DB extract, analyze, and summarize the information. So the business need, I feel that I think that is supposed to be is we need to have a deep understanding on what exactly the different branches of users want. Because the intention of this project is to develop a task manager to show the current case in real time in the dashboard and able to show the history of the cases and statistic for analysis. Of course, this project will help director to see the overall efficiency or problems of their current workflow. The officer to manage the on hand and analytics can consolidate the data. So the project plan. So our dashboard have two different modules as I have mentioned above. Is there reporting and enforcement? So before I have take over this dashboard project, dashboard has already implemented as what I mentioned also. So and of course the dashboard will never end because even if with enhancement or even bug fix or even new functions are being implemented, we need to keep on manage and maintain the dashboard project as long as the system is still ongoing. So below the following table shows roughly how we plan for the project timeline for each sprint. So as I mentioned before, so one sprint equals 3 weeks. So gathering requirement is of course the first week. Dashboard planning will be the first week also. Dashboard design will be the first week. Preparation of data, example, extract of data will be first or second week, depending on um, what exactly data or properties that we need to use for the dashboard, and we need to think of what user can come up with, what the user is thinking also. Analyze the different types of data. Load data, which is the second and third week. Verify all data, which is the third week. So before our spring review end, we have an internal review between our teams and presentation to the user too, which is happening in the third week or the first week of the sprint. First week of our sprint, basically we will talk about the last sprint items, but normally we'll be at the third week of the sprint. Then for dashboard UAT and deployment will be happening in the quarterly of the year, which is April, August, and December. So during the sprint, we developers of course need to complete the sprint item within the given 3 weeks. Every time before the sprint end, as I mentioned, we will have an internal review, which is happening in the third week, most likely. Then during the sprint review, which is the demo with the user, we will present what we have done. And from there, we will have feedbacks, and definitely we need to enhance to make the system better, or if they need to change something, we have to change according to their needs. So this is the overall of the more details dates that when I've done what. So in conclusion, of course I find that I have learned quite a number of new skills which I never learned in school before. Pega is one of the things I learned. I personally feel Pega require not much programming, but we definitely need the fundamental of programming, especially Java and object-oriented program (OOP) concept. Pega, we need to understand the rules, like I mentioned just now also, the process flow and the process flow of the business and the design for the section. Quick sense is also one of the new things I've learned in this project because in in my school, what I've learned is quick view. Although quick view is roughly same as quick sense, but I think some of their concept will be different, and uh also it doesn't really require much programming skills, but we need to know some of the SQL statement also, like how we select, how we insert, how we create tables, how to join table, in join or outer join table, and time management. Time management is also one of the very important factor because in our dashboard team, we only men of two, and because of this, not much people is going to rush you for work, and we need to have our own self-discipline in doing this, and need to have a very good time management in doing this. So in conclusion, I feel that this OJT project is really very meaningful for me, as I get to learn things myself and challenge the things I never done before. This got me to enhance my communication skills, be it with team members or with clients, enhance my programming skills also. The most important thing is we always challenge the things that we want, so that to improve ourselves. This is what I want to achieve in my life also. So reference, which I reference the relevant info that I've used. Yeah, this is the term of reference which I have mentioned before. And later on, I will be including the video presentation link over here. And thank you for your time and effort in teaching us. And this is the end of the presentation. Thank you.